Any trip to Antarctica is a massive journey. So the preparation before you go is really important. Getting to the gateway port of Ushuaia or Punta Arenas is a big deal. It's a long way. Those gateway ports really feel like the end of the world.
You leave Ushuaia and you go through the Beagle Channel. Beagle Channel has this very interesting nature. Start looking at the forests around you in the Patagonia, in Tierra del Fuego. You will look at trees that are totally different from what you're used to. And then you go out, and after like 6 hours, you are in the Drake Passage, right?
The Drake takes us 2 days to cross. That's the size of this gap between South America and the Antarctic Peninsula.
The learning really begins when we start crossing the Drake Passage, where we start offering our lectures and workshops and start preparing our guests for what to expect, what kind of wildlife they will be seeing, when, what period of their reproductive time they are, a little bit also about the geology that is behind the formation of that incredible place.
Keep that going, go to the lectures, do your briefings and get your boots, get your jacket, get everything done, and then start to look at the Drake Passage as you go through it.
You don't know what it's going to be like, whether it's going to be rough, the Drake Shake, whether it's going to be calm, the Drake Lake. If it is rough, then our ships are built for comfort. They are slightly bigger, we do have stabilizers, you can have the experiences of modern technology of streaming lectures, etc. to your cabins, so we will look after you.
It's the first albatross I see and I'm home. They accompany you. It's like old souls that are just following you and you can sort of feel them and it's beautiful and you see them all the way down to Antarctica.
More and more people go out on deck with their binoculars. Just that energy raises as you go, you move away from civilization to kind of this lost world.
When we then announce we can see land, we can see land, then the anticipation is high and there is a lot of pointing everywhere. And that first sight of land, you earn the right. You've earned the right to see Antarctica. You've been through it.
The uniqueness about going to Antarctica in the summer is almost 24 hours daylight. Animals migrate to Antarctica to feed. These animals, birds, whales, penguins, are not frightened of humans. They haven't been exploited in recent history. So you can see wildlife up close in ways that you can't elsewhere in the world.
Everything relies on plankton. When the springtime arrives and the ice starts melting, the sea ice starts melting, that will provide the perfect conditions for phytoplankton to bloom. The whales will start arriving, they will also provide nutrients. So it's really a very seasonal but very rich ecosystem that just blooms when the sun comes back.
On our small boat cruising, roughly we take people for about an hour. It can be colder in a boat because you're not moving around. So when you do go on small boat cruising, we recommend people to wear more clothes, to wear waterproof trousers because you might get splashed.
On land, there is a very smiling expedition leader that will tell you where you can go, where we have made the parameter, but then you free roam, so we're not going to babysit you. You're going to be able to take it in on your own.
In Antarctica, you can expect to see mostly seabirds, including albatrosses, penguins, skuas, terns. And on sea, you can expect to see whales, humpback whales, sei whales, even blue whales in some occasions, and seals. You will certainly see at least the Weddell sea, who likes to hang around on land, or the crab-eater seals that you will very probably see on ice floes.
Most of our guests will see more or less the same wildlife. However, the wildlife are in different cycles during the season. If you come early season, the penguins will be either waiting to make their nests or they will be sitting on them. Mid-season, you will have small, tiny chicks. Then late season, the chicks will be all over the place.
You will be guided or accompanied by our expert teams. The ornithologist, for example, will be standing next to the penguins, walking you through what you are seeing, explaining why that penguin is stealing a pebble from that other penguin.
Part of our expedition team is a professional photographer. Not only will they capture these amazing images of your trip, we will share those images with you after the trip, so you'll have those forever. They will also help you collect your own images, so if you have questions about how to the right setting on your camera, your phone, they will help you get your best images.
What is special about Antarctica is its lack of distractions. No power lines, no cars, no sounds of anything human-made. It unnerves you a little bit, but then you start to focus on what you actually have. The sound of silence is something that a lot of guests have come to me afterwards and said, I never knew the sound of silence.
When you're out in a Zodiac and a whale breaches next to the boat, and the blow of the noise that a whale makes, and then sometimes you get the spray from a whale, it just takes you to a whole different world.
So beyond what everybody can do, we have selected excursions. The biggest program is kayaking. You can get into a double kayak and go for an hour and a half. You don't need to have previous experience to be able to do these activities. I want to point that out.
We also have, on our Antarctic sailings, guest scientists. They're real scientists collecting data for their projects, whether it be looking at whale health, whether it be looking at cyanobacteria, collecting snow samples. They will give you talks, they will give you briefings, they will share what they're doing.
We also have a citizen science project that we support in Antarctica, which is Fjord Fito. And this project wants to understand what the increased income of meltwater from the glaciers will have as a consequence to the phytoplankton communities living in these fjords. And for that purpose, we ask the help of our guests.
When you go to Antarctica, go with an open mind. Those experiences when the weather's really bad and you think, I'm not going to go out of the ship, but those are the things that you'll remember.
You just need to be ready for anything. So layer up and listen to the advice from the experienced people who have been there, and then go with the flow. And you know what? Then you're gonna have the best experience.
Antarctica for me is the true last wilderness. There's no civilization, there's no population. It is remote, raw, it's unexpected.
Polar fever is real. There is something intoxicating about that nature.
Such an overwhelmingly beautiful, wild place.
Colors, the wildlife, the richness of biodiversity is incredible. It's so important for the world and for us to understand it. And I think in HX we deliver some of that unexpected nature and understanding to our guests.